This video is for all the mothers out there, and the dads too, but more so the mothers who are trying to raise healthy kids into healthy adults. The biggest mistake I see parents and especially mums make when they're trying to raise their kids is they don't listen to their intuition. And let me go into some detail here. So, I've been working in the health field for over 20 years now, and I've met so many mothers and parents who have regretted decisions they've made or not made, which I guess is still a decision, in helping their kids with health. They just had this feeling, this intuition that something was wrong that they didn't listen to, or maybe they brought it up to their medical doctor or whoever they're going to, and maybe that was ignored. Maybe they were told, no, that's not a problem, don't worry about it. Now, we also have to recognize that as parents, I'm a father of 2 daughters, it's very easy to let our emotions get involved, and we're gonna worry a lot more about them than we worry about ourselves or anyone else. But mothers especially have such a keen intuition. So often I've seen them be right when I'm working with families with anything to do with health, that I never ignore when a mother's intuition is saying something. Even if I think that they're worried about something that's definitely not there, I'm still always going to explore it, because I'd prefer be able to get there and say, nope, there was nothing to worry about, than have missed it. And this goes for so many things, whether a procedure should be done or not, whether a child is reacting differently on a certain food or supplement or medication or whatever it is. So for all the mums out there, when you feel that pull in your heart that what you're doing or not doing isn't right for your child, always listen to it. And I don't care if the doctor completely dismisses it, tells you you're wrong, anything like that, you have to follow through on it. Now, that doesn't mean you also want to ignore advice that's going to be good for your kids. And so we also have to be very careful on that flip side before anyone attacks me on this video. So when that happens, my recommendation to all parents I work with, and even if it's something they're not sure about what I'm telling them to do, I'll always tell them to go and get 2, 3, 4 opinions and try and get those opinions from doctors who think differently to each other or from completely different fields. So for example, let's say you have a child and they've been diagnosed with ADHD. And you feel like, okay, good, I knew something was off, but I need to help my child. And then maybe your doctor has said, let's give them some Adderall or Ritalin. And maybe there's just this tug on your heartstrings that says, I'm not sure I want to do that. And maybe you do a little bit of research and you think, no, this drug isn't for my child. But the doctor is adamant that it's the only thing that's going to help them with their behavior, and they're not going to grow into a good functioning adult if they don't do it, but something's pulling at you to not do this. Then go and speak to another pediatrician or another medical doctor. Go and find maybe a functional medicine practitioner, whether they're a medical doctor or a chiropractor or whatever else, get their opinion on it as well. And then you can get these 3 or 4 opinions together and see what really resonates. Now, we always have to make sure we're not missing a safety signal that by acting or not acting, you could really put your child at harm. That's always what puts the pressure on. But getting those multiple opinions is going to help you really zero in and go, is it my emotions that are talking right now? Or is it truly my mother's intuition? Because more often than not, you usually have time to make a decision when it comes to health. It's very rarely so emergent that you have to make that decision today. And 90+% of the parents I've met that have regretted something to do with their health when they were raising their kids, 90% plus is because they acted on something when they wished they'd taken more time, or they wished they'd listened to their intuition. So I really just want the parents to understand that it's hard, and it's hard when you have a doctor telling you one thing and it doesn't feel right, because it also doesn't mean that you know, because there's a lot of doctors who are very, very experienced and they see maybe the same thing over and over. So you also have to step back and ask yourself these kind of questions. Is this doctor armed with really one avenue to target this thing? If your child has ADHD, let's go back to that example, and you mention, well, can I try changing diet before I put them on this Adderall? And the doctor says, no, that's not going to help. And you've already read the research that diet helps immensely with it. Then you already know that, okay, I probably don't necessarily need to listen here. I can go and find another doctor and get another opinion. And I don't mean you don't need to listen, but you can give more weight to your own intuition there. So I think the best thing you can do as a parent, even though we heard all through the whole COVID mess, is that you shouldn't do any research. You've got to trust the experts. And we saw how that worked out. Every parent should be researching, 1000%, because even if I follow the doctor's advice for something for one of my two daughters, if ultimately something happens, then that's still my fault that something went wrong. I don't get to blame anyone else for that. Me and my wife as the parents made that decision. So if anyone tells you you shouldn't research, you also need to ignore that advice. Every single parent should be researching. You should be asking tons of questions. You should be challenging everything. I love when parents come to work with me, or just patients in general, adults, whatever, and they challenge what I recommend or challenge the treatment that I'm proposing, because it means they're invested in it. It shouldn't be argumentative. It's like, great, hit me with your concerns. What are you worried about? What have you read? What have you heard? What have you been told? Let's try and get to a point together where we can move forward and help you become the healthiest you can. So if the doctor or team you're working with doesn't want that and doesn't appreciate it and pushes back, that's your first signal to go and find someone else. So if nothing else in this video sticks, mums, I want you to trust your intuition when it comes to the health of your kids, until it's completely proven otherwise that you need to act in a different way. Up until that point, trust your intuition 100% no matter what. Now, also, if you've made it this far in the video, I would love if you hit that subscribe button, because I don't want you to miss all the videos that I do and have coming up on how to keep ourselves and our families healthy. I want to share a lot of valuable information that's going to help you really become your own best doctor, so that you can trust your intuition even more, because you're going to be knowledgeable on where those feelings are coming from in the first place.